Hi everyone, I'm Christopher Sharp here and I'm live in Tallahassee, Florida. And today we'll be discussing some issues in college football, specifically when it comes to the NCAA transfer portal, recruiting in the new signing period, and also whether or not players should be paid for their own likeness. So first off, with the NCAA transfer portal, this whole issue started this last season and the NCAA made a new rule where players who are underclassmen now have the ability to enter their name in a transfer portal and they can be recruited by other universities. Now, this kind of opens up a whole new wave of recruiting, as usually you just recruit 18-year-olds out of high school, or you recruit graduate seniors to come to your university. Now, when a player enters the transfer portal, they can open up whole new options to themselves. As if, say, you're in the SEC and you want to go home closer in the Big Ten country, you can open up yourself by going in the transfer portal, and essentially schools like Ohio State, Michigan State, they can all email you or message you and say, hey, we are interested in you. We would love you to come to our university. And so that player can then take that information and then be able to transfer to a different university. Now, if they want to play immediately, there has to be a certain kind of waiver placed by the NCAA to make that happen. But essentially, it's a whole new wave of recruiting. And players now can get out of their scholarships. And this has kind of caused some sort of controversy with coaches and administrators because they believe we've invested in these players and that they've signed with our university, so they should stay until they graduate. Well, these players, on the other hand, think, hey, it's my life, it's my career, so I want to use it the way I want to. So essentially, it's kind of a conflicting different issue on both sides. But I kind of tend to agree with the players in that it's their career and it's their livelihood. If they want to transfer home to get a better education or a better opportunity to play, that's their priority. That's their prerogative. Now, some coaches and even old school players will say, hey, you committed to university, you have to do that all the way through. And I can see that point, and they shouldn't. And also, some players say you shouldn't be afraid of competition because some players are transferring because there's a better opportunity at a different school. But it's so hard to make it professionally or to even get looks. So I feel like, yes, iron sharpens iron, and it can help you if you compete for your spot. But at the same time, if there's an opening somewhere else or a better opportunity, then you should be able to take it. Now, this past offseason, there have been several examples of this transfer portal, a lot with the quarterback position. So we have Jalen Hurts, who transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma. Now, in that situation, Jalen Hurts paid his dues. He played in the national championship game his freshman and his last season. He also has been a huge contributor and been patient behind Tua at quarterback for Alabama. So he was a starter, he was a Heisman contender, and then he kind of fell off behind Tua, but now he's paid his dues and he's going to Oklahoma and he'll be the next starting quarterback and maybe the next Heisman winning quarterback because they have a good run after Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. So maybe Jalen Hurts will take over. But all in all, it's a good opportunity for him there at Oklahoma. And then we have Justin Fields. Now, Justin Fields, he was a five-star quarterback out of high school. He signed at UGA, and everyone thought he might push Jake Fromm, and he did get some snaps in some wildcat kind of plays and in garbage time, but he didn't really take Jake Fromm's job. So Fromm's a starter at UGA, and he's still pretty young, and he has a couple years of eligibility left. So basically, Justin Fields took the opportunity and decided to transfer to Ohio State, and he actually got the waiver to play early. And Fields, the reason he got the waiver is because there was a racial slur uttered by a UGA baseball player that was in the stands at a game, and it turned out it was a UGA baseball player, so that player got suspended and dealt with. But Fields actually used that. Fields actually used that claim to help get to his eligibility at Ohio State, so that really helped out a lot there. And now he's selected to be the starter there. And then we have Tate Martell, who transferred from Ohio State to kind of incumbent with crossing with Fields. He transferred from Ohio State down to Miami, so the University of Miami in Florida. So basically, Tate Martell also got a waiver to play, and he really didn't have much of a complaint, I guess, besides just a coaching change with Urban Meyer leaving, and then also in general, he just wanted to play quarterback. So he ended up transferring down to Miami, and he's competing for the job there. We'll see if he wins it, but it's interesting how certain people got waivers for specific issues and others just kind of got a waiver for no reason. And one bad example of how the transfer portal looked like it was working, but it didn't, is with tight end Luke Ford. So essentially, Luke Ford, he was a tight end. He committed to the University of Georgia, but he wanted to transfer home to Illinois to be close to his grandparents who were pretty ill. And essentially, the NCAA never gave him a waiver claim. They said, hey, you can transfer here, but you can't play year one. And it was kind of odd why they would not give him a waiver when they gave people like Tate Martell a waiver, for example, who had really no issues at Ohio State. He just wanted to play somewhere else. So that's very intriguing how that went down. Then moving on to the recruiting, so the early signing period in college football. Do I like it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, I think it's a great thing for the players. It's kind of bad for the universities at times because it doesn't give you a lot of time after the season ends to really pitch the future to your program. But it does give high school athletes a great time to really just lock in on the recruiting. They can wrap it up during the summer, play their whole high school football season with no worries, and then commit by the end of their own season. So, because the early signing period is now in December as opposed to, there's still the February deadline, but now the main signing period is in December. So that puts more onus on coaches to really ramp up their recruiting early on in the process. And they just have to adjust, honestly. I think it's better for the high school athletes because they can go on their tours in the spring, make a decision by maybe the end of the summer, do some couple camps, and then they can just play their football season with no worries. In their whole spring semester, they can focus on academics and maybe, or also if they just want to qualify to enroll early, they can just focus on that. There's no last-second hoodwinks or anything, or no bowl games that impact decisions. Because sometimes a bowl game or some huge win, yeah, that can get some good momentum, but it can also be deceiving. Because yes, you won this game, but that was a postseason game where the other team might not have been up for it, and it might make your program look great, but really it's not. So. And it also gives the players two opportunities to commit. If you don't feel comfortable and you want to wait, you can wait till February. But if you're ready to go and you want to sign, then lock it in December. And then our final topic today is about player likeness and them being paid for it. Now, the NCAA recently put out a statement saying they may look into paying the players to use their likeness, which could lead to the NCAA football game returning, which that would be amazing, honestly, for me and for thousands of fans, probably millions of fans across the country and across the globe that love NCAA football. So now, should players be paid for their likeness? This kind of opens up a wide range of issues and topics because not every player is on the same level as each other. So, for example, a Heisman Trophy winner such as like Jameis Winston or Kyler Murray, they should be paid for their likeness, in my opinion, but they should deserve more than a walk-on or a freshman player on the team. Not every player on the team is bringing the amount of money. Now, you just look into any university bookstore. So I'm here in Tallahassee, so at Florida State, you'll see a Dalvin Cook jersey still. You'll see a Jalen Ramsey jersey still. Now, it won't necessarily have their name on it, but you know whose number that is. Or number one, for James Black now. He's our new quarterback probably for the fall. But essentially, you would never know. Who it is, but at the same time they're not profiting off their own jersey sales at all. So I feel like in situations like that, they should still be able to be paid for their likeness. But overall, they have to find a nice median line to kind of say at the University of Alabama or even Clemson, the reigning national champions, their whole team should get something a little extra besides say South Florida, University of South Florida. They should make some more money, in my opinion, other than that. So. All in all, the image likeness thing is kind of an intriguing topic, and it's kind of dicey because then you open up the opportunity, hey, should basketball teams be paid? Should baseball teams be paid? Should softball or beach volleyball be paid? So that kind of opens up a lot of different loopholes. But the revenue money is there. College football is generating tons of revenue and money. So all in all, I feel like it's a pretty solid issue, but we'll see how that goes. But that'll wrap it up today. I'm Christopher Sharp here, and thank you for tuning in.